Okay, the next step is to create the functionality for the employees part of the app. So I'm going to work through this quite quickly because we're going to follow the same steps that we did for departments. So we'll start off by going into the domain model, and we'll go into the toolbox and we'll drag an entity on, and I'm going to configure the entity and I'm going to call it employee. And what I can now do is I can add the attributes, and these are emp number, which is an integer. We've got ename, which is a string, so I can just leave that. Tapping on new over and over again. We've got job, which is a string. We've got manager, which is an integer. And hire date, which is now we've actually got a way to represent date and time in here, which is quite nice. So I'm going to select date and time for that one, and let's have sal, which is going to be an integer. There we go. Now there's a couple of other fields in the original table, but I'm going to leave them out because I want to demonstrate something a little bit later on. So let's just go with those 6 fields for the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. So I click on OK. And now what Mendix has done is it's actually created underneath the bonnet, it's created a table with those rows and those columns called employee with the names that we've indicated for each of the columns. Of course, it uses the phrase entity and attributes. So I'm going to save that. Let's go back to over here. Now, here's my home page. What we need is 2 pages. So we'll have an equivalent of the view page. That's going to be a list, and it's going to enable us to view all the people in a kind of list. And then we need a page to actually be able to add, edit employees, and that will be a form page. So we've got a list page and we've got a form page. Exactly the same idea as we did with the departments. So I'm going to hover over my first module. Let's do the list first. So I'm going to click on add page, look under lists. We're going to have that first list page here, and let's call it view employees. Click on OK, and we can make this look. So we use the same sort of style as we did for the departments. So we've got departments, view all departments. Let's go, I'm going to double tap on that. Employees. And then we had view all employees, like that. Now we've got the little red number there, which is indicating that we need to indicate the source of the list. In other words, which entity, which table is this going to actually get its data from. And we can do that. I can click on data source here, and I can say what's it going to point at. And if we click select now we've got all of the entities that exist inside our domain model. So we've got department, and of course we've got the new entity employee. So I can click on that, click select, click OK, automatically fill the view. This is where the wizard comes into play, which is quite nice. And we click yes, and there we are. It's created the list view for us. Now, I don't think we really need all of these bits of information on the list view. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete some of these. I'm going to do a right mouse click. We don't need the cell or the hire date. Now, all I'm doing here is saying don't display those values on our list view. I just don't think we actually need all of the values on the list view. Obviously, they're still in there inside our entity, inside our database. It's just which particular bits are we showing on this page. Now, the way that this works, of course, we want this to have a particular layout and a button over here. But before we do that, I'll save that. Let's create the Add Edit Employees page. So I'm going to do a right mouse click, Add Page. This time it's what's known as a form, and it's going to be Form Horizontal. And let's use the same naming style that we did before. So let's call it Add Edit Employee. Click on OK. Got my little red circle here indicating that we haven't actually described what the data view will be for this. So we can click on the data source bit and we can say it's going to display employees. Now this is a form, so it's going to display one employee at a time, and you can see it's created that form for us rather nicely there. We've used the wizard, so I can save that. So let's go back to view employees, and now what I can do is I can now add the links from this list view to that form in the right place. So let's do the create a new person bit first. And the way that we do that is we use a create button. So I'm just going to drag the create button on over here. We're going to say what kind of entity is it that we're going to create. Well, this is the feature where we want to create a new employee. So I'm just going to select employee, select OK. It's not quite finished. The way that this works is if I double tap on it, what will happen is, the way that Mendix works, it will create a new blank employee. But of course, what do we do then? Well, we need to pass that blank object, that blank employee, into a page so that we can add things into it. So down here, you can see it says create an object. What kind of object are we creating? We're creating an employee. But here it says on click page. Where do we actually end up? Well, we want to end up on the Add Edit Employee page. Now the only other thing to do with this bit is to style it. So I'm going to go into the properties. I'm going to make it appear on the right like that. So let's save it all and let's run it. And when I click on View App, here's my app running. And obviously when we tap on here, it shows us the department pages. And when we tap on here, it doesn't work. Of course, the reason it doesn't work is because we haven't connected the wiring from the front page to the employee pages. So let's go back and do that. Go back into my home page, and I've got my little button here. I can double tap on that, and I can say on click, show a page. What particular page do we want to show? Well, we want to see view employees. There we go. Save it and run. View the app. So now, hopefully, it takes me into my employees page, and I can click on new and I can add someone in. So let's add in 405 March, who is in admin, whose manager is 938. Now the nice thing is, because I said that this was a date field, we've got some automatic functionality that's appeared here. See the little button over here? If I put that up, we get a nice little pop-up box that enables us to automatically enter a date like that. And then we can enter their salary. Let's say they're earning that much, and I'll click on save, and you can see it's now displayed in the list view. Let's add one more in. So let's add in 535 Burn, who is in sales, whose manager is 734. Pick our date when they were hired, and let's give them a salary of 26,000. There we go. So we've got the ability to see all the people at work, all the employees that we have. We can add a new one. Of course, what we really want to do is we want to be able to edit this. So that's the next bit of the functionality that we need to implement. So let's do that quickly. Let's go back to my View Employees page. So we'll do the same thing that we did before. I'll go into the toolbox. I'm going to add a layout grid into here. And I'm going to have it 9.3. I'm going to place these in here. And like I did on the other page, I'm just going to double tap and then place a space after the field. Double tap, space, just to space it out a little bit. And then finally over here, we need to add a button. And this is going to be an open page button. And it's going to open up the Add Edit Employee page. I'm going to double tap that just to configure it. I don't want a caption. What I want is an icon. Let's pick the chevron again. Chevron right. Select. OK. And let's pop that on the right like that. I think we're there. Let's run it again. So I'm just going to recreate the app. And let's view the app again. So now, if I go into Employees, tap on here, there we go, we can see just a little summary of the people in the list view. That's on the View Employees page. I can now tap on here and I can edit those values. I can cancel, I can add a new person, just like that.